August 6. 1577. Queen Elizabeth granted a license to John Day and Richard Day, his son, during their lives, and that of the longest liver, to print the Psalms of David in meter. 1580. Andrea Palladio, a very distinguished Italian architect, died. Many specimens of his designs yet remain. 1585. Davis, the navigator, reached the strait which bears his name, and cast anchor in Exeter Bay, beneath that brave mount, the cliffs whereof were orient as gold. 1637. Benjamin Jonson, the English poet and dramatist, died, aged 63. He was a bricklayer at the outset of life, but his inclinations turned to the building of monuments more imperishable than those of brick and stone. 16th N.S. 1638. Birthday of Nicolas Malebranche, a distinguished French philosopher. His works were highly esteemed for their genius and style, and for his manners, which were amiable and simple. He was greatly venerated. 1660. Don Diego Velázquez de Silva died. A distinguished Spanish painter. 1662. Metacom, sachem of Poquenoket, afterwards celebrated under the English title of King Philip, made his appearance at the court of Plymouth, and solicited the continuance of the amity and friendship which had subsisted between the governor of Plymouth and his father and brother, and promised for himself and his successors to remain subjects of the King of England. 1674. Thomas Willett, the first mayor of New York, died. He is buried at Seekonk, Massachusetts. 1695. Francis de Harlay died, Archbishop of Paris, the favorite of Louis XIV. 1701. Ulrich Obrecht, a learned German critic and Latin historian, died. So extensive and various was his learning that he has been styled the epitome of human science. 1706. John Baptiste Duhamel died, a celebrated French philosopher and divine. 1725. Thomas Rawlinson Tombfolio, an English antiquary, died. The sale of his collection of books and manuscripts, which were put up at auction after his death, occupied several weeks. 1745. David Wilkins died, an English librarian and antiquary, and a learned author. 1756. Eugene Aram, a self-taught English scholar, executed near York, for murder, and hung in chains on Knaresborough Forest. He was a man of consummate abilities and wonderful erudition, but appears to have been a victim to covetousness. 1777. General Herkimer, marching with the forces of Tryon County to relieve Gingans Fort at Fort Schuyler, was ambushed by a strong detachment of British and Indians, and defeated with the loss of 400. The Indians lost several of their great chiefs and 70 warriors. 1778. Sieur Gerard, ambassador from France, introduced to Congress. He was the first ambassador from any nation to the United States. 1780. Battle of Hanging Rock. 600 Americans under Sumter attacked and defeated the British, consisting of the Prince of Wales Regiment and a large body of Tories. The regiment was almost entirely destroyed. From 278 it was reduced to 9 men. 1788. The last let of justice in France, assembled at Versailles, by Louis XVI, to enforce upon the Parliament of Paris the adoption of the obnoxious taxes, proposed by Cologne. 1796. Battle of Rouvray-Doux. The French under Bonaparte defeated the Austrians under Wurmser, after an action of 16 hours, and entered Trent. Austrian law 6,000 men. 1796. James Pettit Andrews died, author of several English histories and other works of merit. 1799. Marie Eliezer Bloch, an able German naturalist, died. He was of obscure parentage, and self-taught, besides other valuable works on natural history and medicine. He published a history of fishes, 6 volumes. Folio, colored plates. 1806. Francis II, Emperor of Germany and King of Rome, resigned his titles and annexed his possessions in Germany to the Austrian Empire. The empire, founded by Charlemagne, fell upon the holiday of Christmas, 1800. 1815. Commodore Decatur arrived with his fleet off Tripoli. 1817. Pierre Samuel Dupont de Nemours, a French statesman, died. He was distinguished for his knowledge and talents, as well as his excellent character and principles. On the return of Bonaparte from Elba, he came to America, where he died. 1818. David Ferguson, a Scottish soldier, died at Dunkirk, aged 124, very much respected and beloved. 1824. Battle of Junín, in Peru. The Royalists defeated by the united Peruvian and Colombian forces, under Bolívar. The combatants fought hand-to-hand, with lance and saber, those engaged being cavalry only. 1840. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte, son of the late King of Holland, accompanied by about 60 men, made an attempt to effect an hostile descent upon France, landed about 2 leagues from Boulogne, directed their march to that city, and were soon taken prisoners. The prince was soon after placed in the castle of Ham. 1843. The 1,000 Years Jubilee celebrated in Germany, in commemoration of the settlement by which the empire was divided between the 3 brothers, sons of Philip the Devout. The festival occurred on Sunday, and was very generally and appropriately celebrated, more particularly in the Prussian states. 1846. A revolution took place again in Mexico, in favor of the exiled Santa Anna. The troops in Veracruz and its vicinity first declared in his favor, and were soon followed by those at the capital, who deposed and imprisoned General Paredes, the President of the Republic, and proclaimed Santa Anna, and the Constitution of 1824. 1849. A treaty of peace was signed between Austria and Piedmont. 1851. An eruption having taken place in the volcanic mountains of Martinique, columns of smoke were seen to issue from 8 distinct craters. 1855. A riot at Louisville, Kentucky, between the Americans and foreigners. Several were killed on both sides, and rows of houses belonging to the foreign population were torn down and burned.